Duncan, obviously you've played quite a few teams now obviously in the league. What do you feel that you're missing at the moment to push into the second half of the season?
We need to keep clean sheets, to be honest with you. We've no scored in the last couple of games, so that's a problem as well. But we need to make sure that we keep clean sheets and then we can nick a goal. Obviously we need a little bit of creativity in the final third. The last two games we've not quite had that.
David Witherspoon, I mean obviously he was a big miss at the weekend. I mean how are talks progressing, and if he does go, can he be replaced?
Ongoing. No news on it. Maybe no news is good news. We can certainly look to replace him, but of course he's a top player and it's difficult to replace the real quality players. He's been a great signing for us. Can't speak highly enough of the lad. He's a great player, great athlete, great professionalism out of him. But we'll have to replace him if he goes. We'll have to try and find a player.
How much scope have you got for January reinforcements?
Yeah, I think the club will support me if we can identify the right targets. So I think there's a wee bit of movement there if we can find the right players. And
any particular areas that you're looking in that you would like to strengthen on the pitch?
All over, to be honest with you. Obviously, I've got good players there. I've got a good group of players that have done really well for me. Up and probably to the last maybe week or 2 weeks, really, where the results have not been great for us. But we're ongoing, just looking for good players, to be honest with you. But obviously, the final third is key, isn't it, as well?
And I mean, talking about games, you've got another away game, and you could leapfrog Ayr with a win. I mean, what are you expecting from them?
Good team, strong team. They've been scoring goals. They played 4-4 against Wraith, so they score goals, although they got turned over at Morton in the last game. So it's going to be a tough match for us. They're all tough where I'm standing. But as you said, it's we need to get a win as quick as we can, and that can propel you up the league. But we'll do as best as we possibly can. But Ayr are a good team, as we know. We're going to have to be at 100% in our best to get anything at the match.
I think defensively, so their record is not great at all. I mean, the strikers that you've got, they should be right up for that and be right on that then, shouldn't they?
Absolutely, they should be up for every game, shouldn't they? And they're up for a game. I think it's just probably been since we lost David Witherspoon at the attacking line. We've struggled a wee bit to create the chances. I think when he's been in there, we've created a lot of chances and we've scored goals up until we lost him at Morton. And we never really created enough chances against Airdrie, so that's a big miss for us. It's a big worry in the final third, but we've got good enough players in there who can create, and hopefully they'll take their chance.
Looking at the game in the wider scope of things, I mean, you'll no doubt have seen the fuss that there has been regarding referees and VAR in the league above, especially around the Old Firm game at Christmas time. What's your thoughts on all of that?
On the VAR?
And particularly, with regards to the way that it's working with the referees.
I've got no idea, to be honest. I don't really follow it. It's a tough job to be a referee, isn't it? Certainly, it's not an easy job, any referee job, and obviously the VAR is there to help, isn't it? I'm not quite sure if that's happening at the moment, but that's really all I could say in it.
Team news, have you got any injured players coming back, or what's the latest?
We've still got Witherspoon out. Unfortunately, it's hamstring. He'll not be available. And Danny Devine never trained because he was out in the last game as well. He's not been training. So we're a bit concerned about Danny. Other than that, most of them are back. But obviously, Danny and Witherspoon are two big losses for us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If there's uncertainty over David Witherspoon's future with the club, is that creating further uncertainty in terms of what you're going to do during January and so on? Would it be better to get that resolved first?
No, there's no really, no, because if we've always got plans in place to try and if the lad doesn't sign the contract, then we're not just going to wait for that. I'm on looking at the moment. The recruitment is always ongoing. So no, not at all. We're quite relaxed about it. We think no news is good news. Obviously he's picked up an injury just now, so but no, there's no problems here, no pressure at all. The lad's had a good offer. He's got a lot to go through in his mind. I'm sure he's got other very good offers at other clubs. But until I hear something, I'm quite optimistic, really.
In terms of your scope for refreshing the side, how much of that is dependent on other players moving on, and how much might be dependent on extra resources that the board might be able to come up with for you?
No, I think the board have been very good with me, and if we, like I did when I brought Dave Witherspoon in, so no, I think the board will support me. I don't think we need to worry about players moving out at all to bring players in. There's a bit of movement there for me, and if I can identify the players, I think the board will back me.
If you win at Ayr, you move at least one place up the table. That's surely got to be quite a big incentive for you.
I think it does. I mean, all wins at the moment. When we've obviously lost the last game, we drew the couple before that, so we're finding it quite difficult to pick that one up. We did really well earlier on in the season. We were up and in around about it, and knew this is a massive game for us because it keeps us connected. If to the rest, obviously if you don't win, then you're cut adrift a bit again. They're all massive games. I mean, there's a long way to go in the season, but we need to make sure we're picking up wins as soon as possible.
Yeah, that almost renders my last question unnecessary. Because what I was going to ask was, is it a case at the moment of looking over your shoulder at the others behind you, or looking at those above, or is it a bit of both, given the way that this league is? I
think I've said it from day one. When I first came in here, the club told me to stay in the division. That was it. We had 1 point when I came in here. 1 point. So we were cut adrift. We've managed to turn the form around and to get connected to the rest of the league. Unfortunately, we've never been able to get that result to make the step right into the top 5. But I will always be looking behind me because, of course, the first thing that I got told when I come in here to stay in the division, we need to improve our results. But of course, as you know in this league, if you get a win or a couple of wins, it propels you right up there, doesn't it? But my main focus will always be to make sure that we stay in this division.
I'll just actually add another one. You've prompted another one. If you do continue to gain points at the rate you have since you came in, from the 1 point onwards, you should be okay.
Yeah, we will be, because I think we're sitting on 17 points or 18 points or something. I'm not quite sure, but we've accumulated a lot of points since we've been in here. Of course, because we had a poor start, then any bad results that we get is going to knock us back because we can't afford to get the bad results. But you're always going to get a bump in the road. It's always going to happen. You can't win every game. You can't, it just can't happen. We had a fantastic start. We had a couple of bad results, and then we pulled it with a couple of decent draws. And of course, Saturday was the Airdrie game was a tough one for us. I think we struggled to adapt to the pitch, to be honest with you. That's the first time I've ever managed on a plastic pitch, and I really thought that the players struggled. So we need to pick ourselves up. We need to go again, and as you said, if that big word, if that small word, it means so much. If we can get a result against Ayr, then everything changes, doesn't it?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Just on the previous match there against Airdrie, did you feel the referee's decisions kind of went against you for that one?
I think as a manager, you're always going to say, yeah. Obviously, some of the decisions went for us. Some of the decisions didn't go for us. It's just it's tough to be a referee. It's tough to be a manager when you feel sometimes the decisions aren't quite there. You're an away team, so I get that. You're an away team, so obviously the whole team would probably get a wee bit more an advantage on that. But it is what it is. The referee, sees it how he calls it how he sees it. So not making every soldier on, don't we?
Do you think his decision to kind of send you to the stands was harsh?
Well, I do personally think it was harsh, because I would say that, wouldn't I? Because I would always defend my corner. I think I was surprised. But I think the rules or something that get talked about before the start of the season, if you go into the pitch and you confront the referee, it is a straight red. Obviously I didn't know that. I thought it would be a yellow or something. So, but I was surprised when it was a straight red. But I think the rules state if you go in and approach the referee in that kind of manner, he's obliged to give the straight red. I was disappointed. I went in to speak to the referee after the match. We were very civil. He explained the whole situation to me. I apologised, and we move on.
Do you think the way though, just by going to the referee, I mean, does it show to the fans, the enthusiasm that you have though, and wanting to always, fight for your team? Maybe,
but I think I have to change my approach, to be honest, because I can't really be, getting suspended and put in the stand. That's happened to me twice now in about 4 or 5 games. So I have to really think about myself and how I'm speaking to referees, to be honest here. I think I'm getting a 1 game suspension. So, I'll serve that suspension. I'll no appeal, and hopefully it'll not happen again.
Just going back to January now, talking about comings and goings. What kind of markets particularly are you looking for? Do you think you'll kind of go to your kind of contacts down in England? Could it be further afield than that, or in Scotland?
Everywhere, to be honest, everywhere we can find good players. We're using a lot of contacts. I've contacted a lot of clubs. It's no easy, as you know, to get players to come up to Inverness, but we're in there fighting a lot of other clubs for a lot of quality players. And yeah, I'm using all avenues, to be honest, to try and get some players up here. Of course, there's a budget, or you're restricted to certain things you're doing, but I'm pretty confident we can get a couple in.
Just finally, obviously, as you mentioned, the Premiership's on a winter break now. Are you hoping this can help kind of increase focus on the likes of the Championship as well? I think there's a campaign being launched by the SPFL with kind of increased attendance and just increased interest generally.
Yeah, I think it can do, couldn't it? Yeah. Obviously, we want the fans coming through the gates, and obviously the Scottish Prem not being on, so maybe people will come and start watching Inverness.